Hi there, I'm Kim MacDonald. Storm Watch coverage continues here on the Weather Network. Some people aren't watching because, well, they have no power, thousands without power, and a number of neighborhoods across southern Ontario because of these storms, and some in more rural locales as well. We've got thunderstorms that continue to train across Lake Erie this hour, Lake Ontario as well. Severe thunderstorm watches and warnings are coming to an end. There are far fewer at this point in time than there were earlier in the evening. However, the storms continue, so they may not be meeting severe thunderstorm criteria, but they're still pretty impactful. Rain, for example, some areas like Brantford have seen 75 to 90 millimeters of rain. If there's anything good with these storms that's moving out, it's the real cool down. We're going to lose the humidity in the early morning hours. Temperatures have dropped dramatically because of the storms, but it's not easy to get around. I was driving these storms earlier, trying to get to work, and it was just teeming, plus the lightning, just one strike after another, lighting up the sky. This is what it looks like in eastern Ontario, where some of those severe thunderstorm watches and warnings are still hanging on, crossing over onto the Quebec side of the border as well. And we do have severe thunderstorm watches in Quebec, including both Montreal and Quebec City. So there's our severe thunderstorm warning. One small area now left in it. The watch is a little bit bigger, but again, just relegated to southeastern areas of Ontario and then across into Quebec, including the eastern townships, all under that severe thunderstorm watch. Lots of lightning. Of course, a terrible tragedy on Friday. Last day of Frosh Week, orientation week, University of Waterloo. I'm sure you've heard this story already. Young girl, first-year student, struck by lightning, and she's on a path. There's trees all around, and still she was struck. First thing this morning, just before 9 a.m., yes, struck and killed. They're not releasing her name. The family doesn't want her and want them to, but she was an engineering student from Markham. And look at this lightning. Severe thunderstorm warnings now and watches now, there have been, but at that time of the day it was a non-severe thunderstorm. So it just goes as a reminder that lightning can be dangerous no matter if the storm is severe or not. Glad to have you here. I'm Kim MacDonald. At one point, not too long ago, #OnStorm, so Ontario Storm, was the top trending tweet on Twitter. If you don't tweet, you're thinking, what did she just say? But anyway, and this is the reason why. This cold front cutting through this hot, humid air and storms along it for kilometers from southwestern Ontario to Quebec. A line of storms enough to knock out power. There have been numerous lightning strikes, heavy downpours. It's just been an incredible sight. Now, the watches and warnings are slowly coming to an end from west to east. Nothing really in place for the Golden Horseshoe down towards Windsor at this point, but still some pretty strong cells moving out of eastern Ontario and into Quebec. So that's where our severe thunderstorm watch continues for the most part. But there's still been some active cells, and the rain has been a real problem because essentially we've had localized flooding in a few areas. And if you're driving, watch for hydroplaning. Got to go slow in this kind of wet weather. Plus, visibility is just so poor with that rain coming down as hard as it is in some locales. One small severe thunderstorm warning up towards Cottage Country. And incidentally, there may have been a tornado touching down around Port Severn. Looks like EC may be checking that situation out tomorrow, so we'll keep you posted if there was something. Severe thunderstorm watch, this is where it is, primarily in Quebec at this point, a few areas in eastern Ontario, but I think those will end sooner than later. Look at this. This is lightning strike data. So, I mean, that happened early in the day with the first round of storms, which were not nearly as severe as what we've been seeing in the last few hours. Temperatures are really going to cool off for Saturday. Watch for a few morning showers. Storm watch continues. Go. Storm coverage continues here at the Weather Network. Hello, I'm Kim MacDonald. You are still up because of them, and so are we, of course. We still have the risk of severe weather right through the overnight hours. Heavy downpours, we've been seeing a lot of that. Lightning that has been lighting up the sky, and a number of power outages because of it. Good news is a number of our severe thunderstorm warnings and watches have come to an end, but not quite over yet. And what a day it was. Our storm chasers were out. Meteorologist Jacqueline Whittall, Mark Robinson, and boy, did they see some stormy weather. Thanks, guys. Yeah, get some rest. My goodness, what a long day. By the way, they were talking about those temperatures dropping with this storm. At Pearson Airport, the temperature dropped 8 degrees in 25 minutes, just between about 7:45 and just after 8 p.m. So, and a relief for a lot of people. But now this stormy weather progresses eastward into Atlantic Canada, and it will be your storm come Saturday. Temperatures will cool down behind it, lots of high pressure behind it, and a much nicer end to the weekend. This very dark storm cloud just over the Parliament buildings. Ironic. So yes, some severe thunderstorms continuing in eastern Ontario. The thunderstorms just keep on rolling across the south as well, the shores of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. To drive in it, it's very messy, hydroplaning. Not out of the question. And this will continue right through the overnight hours. So despite the fact that much of the watches and warnings have come to an end, we may still see a few more severe thunderstorms through the early morning hours. And there are a lot of power outages as well. That doesn't help things, obviously. This will be your Saturday afternoon, a far cry from the temperatures you saw on Friday. Some cases, they were record-breaking, like in Hamilton, for example. Barrie saw not a record, but one of the hottest spots in the country. Same thing for Windsor, 32 Celsius. In the meantime, it's going to be another humid day across Atlantic Canada come Saturday, and we've got storms headed your way now. So all of this pushes east, and we'll cover the storms for you. So here we are, first weekend of September. Where's the action? Atlantic Canada. The thunderstorms move east through the day on Saturday. We'll have full coverage here on the Weather Network. In the meantime, things are going to be much calmer across Ontario and Quebec, cooler too.